Now, there's a third way to use object snaps to connect to things. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off my midpoints. I'm going to turn off everything except endpoint. So that tells me that when I'm drawing, AutoCAD will find endpoints for me. Right? But if I want a midpoint, I could type MID. And it'll show me midpoints. And I can connect to a single midpoint one time. Okay. But here's another option. While I'm drawing, if I want another object snap, I'm going to hold down this Shift key on my keyboard, and I'm going to right-click on my mouse, and then take a look at what just popped up. This is a temporary object snap menu, which means basically you can go down the list and pick one of any snap, like midpoint, and then for one click, you can use that snap wherever you want. Alright, so I can find any midpoint, and then when it's done, it's done. I'm not going to find midpoints again because I'm only set right now to endpoints. If I want another midpoint, I'd have to shift and right click and specify midpoint again, or type MID, right? So there are ways to get object snaps when you need them. You could type in the first three letters of the name of the snap. We saw end and mid. We could also start drawing and then shift right click and then pick the snap we want. And then the other option would be to set your running object snap to whatever snaps you plan on using, whatever snaps you think you're going to use. Alright, so that was endpoints and midpoints. Let's go on. Now, these two lines, if we click on them, we see the lines have endpoint. The line also has a midpoint. But where the two lines cross is not either of those things. You see the line doesn't break when it crosses another line. It's got its start point and its finish point and the midpoint. So if I want to connect to that location, though, where the two lines cross each other, I'm going to need to snap to something. And the snap we're talking about is intersection. So start drawing your line. It says connect to the intersection. Well, what are my options for getting an intersection? INT, typing that on the keyboard will give me the intersection. And it's a little X. Bam, there we go. Another option would be, of course, shift and right click and ask for an intersection. And there's one. And then ask for a second intersection. There's two. Okay. And then a third option would be turn on your running object snap and make sure that intersection is one of those snaps that's turned on. And we can start here. And do you see as we get close to that line where it crosses the spline, the little golden X shows up? So there's the intersection there. Alright, so circles and arcs when they cross create intersections, lines when they cross create intersections, splines crossing geometric elements create intersections too. And now we're able to connect all those points. Now, circles don't have start points, and they don't have midpoints either. Right? A start point and a midpoint would be something that goes along with a line segment or an arc or a spline. So a circle, though, has its own set of geometric conditions that we can attach to. So if I click on line, I'm not going to get intersections, midpoints, or endpoints on this, but I can get CEN center points. See, circles have a center point, right? And do you see the little golden circle that appears in the middle? So I can tell AutoCAD, hey, give me some center points. And as I get close to the center, the little golden box with a golden circle pops up. It also pops up when you get close to the edge of the circle, right? So what you want to do is, if you can't get it to turn on by going toward the middle of the circle, go out to the edge and that'll light it up. Right, and to get my last one there, I could do a shift and right click, and I can say, hey, give me a center point, and then bam, there we go for a center point. All right, so center points are where the circles are generally created from. If I click on circle, it says where's the center point going to be. Click. Right, that was the center point. And then your second click defines the radius. When you click on a circle, you see the grips, and that's the center point. So AutoCAD knows where it is, even if we don't know the coordinate, and it can easily connect to that for you. Of course, another option we're going to have is we're going to set our running object snap to show center points. So that means every time I get close to the center of a circle, that will light up, and now I can connect to it. All right. So we've drawn lines connecting the three circles from their center point, one to the other. We could also use the center snap to draw concentric circles, right? So I could click and drag and click and drag, and every time I'm starting at the center point and I'm making circles that share a center point. Looks kind of like a dartboard, right? So these are concentric circles. Concentric means all the circles share a single center point. All right, so when we click on a circle, we easily identify that it's got a center point, but then it's also got these grips on the outside edge, right? What are these things? Well, these are called quadrant locations. So the quadrant, if I go to the line and I type in QUA, because that's the first three letters of quadrant, I can connect to the North Pole. And do you see the symbol? Looks like a little gold diamond, right? So I'll type QUA, and I'll go to QUA for the second one. And I'll go QUA quadrant to the third one, to the South Pole. And then for my last one, I'm going to shift right click, and I'm going to look down the list, and hey, look at that. Quadrant is one of my options. Right? So this is a method for going around and finding the North Pole, South Pole, as well as the East and West Pole on your circle. So that worked on the little one. We could, of course, also go in there and just set our quadrants in the running object snap. And then as we get close to quadrants, they will light up, and we'll be able to hit them as we work our way around circles and arcs. All right. So center point, quadrant points.